If you run paid ads, having a very dialed in sales team is the most important thing that you can do. It is the difference between a business that barely breaks even on ads from those that have a 5, 6, 7x ROAS if you're a sales team based business. Now for your ecom guys or some of those guys that don't need a sales team, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you have a sales team, it is one of the biggest levers. And so in today's video, I'm gonna break down why having a dialed in sales team is so important, some of the common problems we see with sales organizations, why these problems occur, how to solve for it. Very simple. Now, before I get into any of this, I will preface by saying I'm not a sales manager. I do not claim to be the best closer in the world, nor do I claim to be the best setter. But I know when a sales team is fucking up. And so we're going to cover exactly that in this video. Now, why did I decide to bring this topic to my attention? Well, I've been working with an offer for probably 18 months now, something like that. I'd have to look, but over a year for sure. And over the course of that offer, we've worked with a very well-known sales agency in the information product space. We've done in-house. We hired what was supposed to be another sales agency, but they ended up being a consultant. And throughout that entire process, our results have looked like this. They've been all over the fucking place. And it's driving me nuts because I come into another offer and objectively, I look at the sales team communication, I look at what the reps look like, I look at how communication is handled inside of the org, and it feels very unprofessional. Yet, they make way more money. In my opinion, the ads are worse, the demo's worse, yet they make more money. And we have never worried about profitability on the campaign side. Blows my mind. I was talking to the sales manager today. I was like, dude, props to you. I use you as an example all the time because I've worked with orgs that are supposedly super dialed in, yet they make no fucking money. And then I work with you. I don't know what you're doing, but it's fucking working. And they are being compliant. So we're going to keep that in mind too. But that's why this video occurs, because the sales agency itself is arguably one of the biggest, or the sales department is one of the biggest levers you can have inside of your organization. This is the type of thing that takes you from 1x ROAS to a 5x ROAS by changing nothing in the org. Absolutely nothing. Another example of this. Business doing around, I think at the time, 200 to 300 a month, all organically through clipping pages. Super, super interesting. They had a sales agency. Sales agency didn't pay them enough attention. Business stayed stuck. Go to run ads. I ran ads with them for a bit, and then they just got overwhelmed with organic. Again, no real feedback on sales side. So it is one of the biggest levers if you want to go from a break even to a 5x. And if you have a good sales team, you can get away with really shitty marketing too, which is awesome. So what are the common problems we see with sales teams all the time? Number one, lazy salespeople. This one drives me up a fucking wall. I'm going to swear a lot in this video, so bear with me. Why? Because as a salesperson, you eat what you kill. So why are you lazy? Why do you not do anything? It makes zero sense. Zero sense. I don't get it. The more you work, the better your sales process is, the more money you make. I know reps that make 100 grand a month from sales. I know multiple of these people. $1 million a year because they are not lazy. They do the work. Yet you've got people, no offense to those out there, but you've got these high ticket sales coaches, some pretty big ones too, that sell it as a work from a laptop. Do this, do that. Yeah, that's great. If you want to make 10K a month as a sales rep, that's fine. If you want your offer to just be super hands off, you don't give a crap, you don't want to run ads, that's fine. Do what you want. But know that the culture you're building is going to produce lazy salespeople. There's this narrative in the industry about how I can work from my laptop, I can pick my own hours. You do not want those reps inside your organization because they will fuck you. They will bend you over and they will fuck you. Just saying. You need salespeople that are willing to do the work. So that's the number one problem, lazy salespeople. The number two problem is that you aren't tracking KPIs. And you will never know if you have lazy salespeople if you don't track KPIs. Great example of this, running an audit. Find out that the setter's doing $75 a day. Most really good setters do at least $150 to $200 a day. At least. If you're a dog, 300 more, 400 if you really want to get the fuck after it. But if you aren't tracking your KPIs, if you don't know this, how are you ever going to determine if you have lazy salespeople or not? It has no idea. The other thing is you can't make decisions inside of the org. A lot of times, these organic only sales managers don't track things, collect $1 per book call. Shout out Josh Troy on that one. Or ROAS per rep. I don't give a shit which close rate is. Are you making me the most return on my money? Is your ROAS, is you as a rep, is your ROAS high? You need to be tracking these metrics so that you can actually make decisions. The number three problem I see with salespeople, or sales teams in general, is poor sales management. This is a very interesting one to me because oftentimes what happens, and this is what we're experiencing on this offer, is a rep, I don't know how good the rep was to begin with, but the rep is now the sales manager. Management is a very different skill set from sales, especially if you're one of these sales reps that's much more friendly. You're going to be probably not the best manager because in a manager role, your job is to cut through all the fucking noise and get straight to it. I think about a deal that we closed recently with a pretty big creator, and the person I was communicating with, the reason we won that deal is because I cut through all the noise. As a leader, it's not your job to fluff everybody up all the time. It's your job to say it how it is. And so this is why poor sales management is so important, because if you just bring your top closer into a management role, good luck. Why'd you do that? Why'd you cut off your best and highest source of revenue? Stupid. Let the guy work. Bring somebody in. Take somebody who's lower that may have that skill set. Bring them up. So those are the big three, in my opinion, is lazy salespeople, tracking the wrong KPIs, so therefore your decision-making gets skewed, and then poor sales management. Now, why does this occur? because everybody has these problems, but nobody really talks about why these things happen in the first place. Number one, organic-led business. If you've built your business off the back of social media, there's a very good chance you can be extremely lazy. I'm starting to experience this. By the time this video's out, we might be at 10,000 followers. And it has been crazy, the inbound deal flow that comes my way. It's been crazy. And I don't have to do anything other than post a couple of videos. So I don't take my business as serious as if I was fronting 40 grand in a month on paid advertising. There's just a level of seriousness, it swings. And when you build your business off the back of organic, you're lazy. Or you bring in some growth operator as an 18-year-old kid that got sold on the business model, like I was in this position just a couple years ago. Then you realize you don't know shit. You know fuck all. And I thank all the clients that worked with me in those early stages because I was making mistakes left and right. But it's the reason that your business is not where it's supposed to be because you've got somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing managing your sales team. Or you've got a sales rep that's never managed a team. Again, I go back to that problem from earlier. So that's the first thing, is an organic-led business. The second thing is you're profitable and making money and scaling, but you don't know why. That's another massive problem we see. Is you're making money, you don't know why, but because you're making money, you don't feel the need to dial in your sales side. You just let them do their thing. Big no-no. Very simple concept to understand. You want extreme transparency, extreme understanding as to what's going on inside of the sales org. And then number three, you aren't effectively using calendar space or lists. We'll just call this reps time. So for example, my setter. A setter goes through the CRM every day, preferably using a dialer, hits lists to drive shared calls, book qualified calls, make sure everything's running smoothly on the front end. They are the best representation of your business. Best representation. Now, what I can do is I can say, here's a CRM rep, go. And they can make $300 a day, but if they call 300 of the wrong people, get fucked. It doesn't make any sense. Whereas if I give them and I say, okay, you're gonna hit this list first, then you're gonna hit this list, then you're gonna hit this list. I'm ranking the leads that they're hitting in order of priority, in order of what has the highest likelihood of making me money, which you get from tracking your KPIs. But now the efficiency I get out of the setter is way higher, so I make more money. Same thing goes for closers. Closer round robin. I can run a webinar and I can let all the calls go to all the closers. And I've done that before. I'm not saying I don't do that, nor am I saying is it the number one thing. But if you want to squeeze efficiency out of your closing team, you want to route all of your highest qualified calls to your best closer. The guys have to earn the right to get the good leads because you don't want to burn those. You paid good money for qualified leads. You got to give the shitty rep the shitty leads and let them work their way to being the best rep, because you get better reps when you work with shitty leads. You don't learn anything when you work with the good ones, but the good guy should get them because he's producing the most. And so that's the second one, is making sure that your reps time is being used effectively. If I can't book out 3 reps calendars, I'm not going to evenly spread it. I'm going to stack my best closer. And then I'm going to stack my second best closer best I can. And if the third guy gets no calls, sorry, not my problem. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to run a business here. So that's a big thing, is effectively using reps time. Now, the last one I'll say, and this one I've been harping on the marketing side, is your reps, I won't write it, but they present like shit. A lot of your reps present like absolute shit. You hire some 18-year-old kid, he's got a hoodie on, you got fucking broccoli ass hair. I need to cut my hair because it's getting a little too out of hand. But you got broccoli ass hair, selling your $50,000 product. What the fuck are we doing? Your growth operator has a pool of 18-year-old kids. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Your reps have to present the part. Logo on the shirt, clean cut, no piercings, depending on what you're selling. They have to present in a way that resonates with the other person. So for example, if I'm selling broccoli-haired kids, I want a broccoli-haired rep because he presents just like the person I'm selling to. But if I'm selling 60-year-old moms, I don't want the broccoli-haired rep. It doesn't work. It can, but that rep is going to be fighting to take frame in the beginning of the call. Maybe not with a mom, but again, you get the point. You want to present like the person you're selling. For example, one of the offers, commercial real estate. You want to present you invest $7 million into an asset. You understand this world. Not you're some kid making chump change, posting online. You don't want that. All these high ticket sales coaches that post online, what are we doing? What are we doing? You do not present the part. So make sure that your reps present good and they don't present like shit. There's a bunch of other things I can get into, but those are the 4 biggest problems I see consistently across the board. I'd say the last one we'll throw in here is just bad reporting. Your data isn't getting tracked correctly, all this stuff. I'm very guilty of this too. I'm not perfect by any means. Sales rep reporting is annoying. And if your sales manager isn't good at it, or the offer owner is the one doing the tracking, like, I don't know what to tell you. You need good reporting. You need to be on your reps about that. And if it means getting your highest performing rep, a virtual assistant, to do it for them, so be it. I don't care. I want that rep on the phones as much as possible. So bad reporting also really, really skews things because you don't know what's going on. If you aren't recording your calls, if you don't have KPIs, all that stuff, you got to have good recording. So now that we broke down why these occur, how do we actually solve these problems? Number one, in a sales organization, and in any organization, doesn't matter if it's just sales, the number one thing you can be doing is having a good culture. Why is this so important? If your business all of a sudden contracts, you want a very strong narrative in that organization to keep them going and to rebound and go up, because the nature of any organization is it will contract. You can't avoid it. So having a strong culture is the most important thing. What this also does is drive performance significantly. And I don't know if I heard this directly from a Grant Cardone video or if this was indirectly from another mentor of mine, Cardone used to take the bottom 10% of his reps and just fire them after a certain period. If they couldn't get back above KPI, he would just let them go. You want that culture in a sales organization. You want morning meetings. You want end of day meetings. You want to make sure everybody's on top of their shit. Not only do you want their culture really good, but somebody that nails this, Andy Elliott, culture drives everything. This guy isn't just looking at your sales org, because the sales org is like arguably the one role in your business where you want their personal life up too. Think about any time you've seen a sales rep and their life blows up. Family member passes away, they get in a breakup, whatever it is. Think about how much their day-to-day is affected. They're talking to other people. That is an energy transfer. As an ads guy, I can feel like absolute shit, like I kind of do today. Yet I can run an ad, I can look at data, I can make decisions. My energy and emotions do not matter in what I do. But if I'm a sales rep and I come across like, yeah, what do you want? I'm going to lose deals because I'm not engaged. I don't have good energy. And so having a good culture is super important because, again, not only does this translate to a certain extent to your personal life. So one thing I do with my team members that I think is super, super important is we do end of days. They see my end of days. They see how my personal life went that day. Now, I tell them, obviously, you can share what you want. But one of the more interesting things is I'll never forget it. And she'll be the one editing this video. So it'll be cool to hear. But there was a point where I could tell, I wasn't following this, and I could tell one of the members of my team wasn't in the best mental state. Pretty tired, didn't seem excited. The calls that we were checking calls just weren't going as well as I wanted. And I started thinking about why that was occurring. And I realized there was probably some degree of personal stuff that was affecting it. I know when I show up like that, it usually doesn't have anything to do with the work environment. It has everything to do with personal life. And so I created this system where twice a week, submit ideas, and I encourage the team to reflect. Not just on what went well, doing well, oh, I did this good, I did that good. No, if you're comfortable sharing, did something happen in your personal life? Are you doing these things? What are you going to do to get better? Forcing a level of introspection, not only in business, but in personal life. And what did that do? A couple weeks later, it was the craziest thing. And again, she's editing this. Basically said, like, I was thinking about going to therapy. I may be butchering this, and now I'm not. It is the culture you drive that is so, so important. And this is especially true of the sales organization. Your culture is number one, and it's not just the business, it's also the personal life. So that's the big one in terms of how to solve. Number two, KPIs. Track the right KPIs. I want to see show rate, close rate, collection rate. I want to see total cash collected. I want to see revenue. I want to see ROAS per rep. I want to see collected dollars per booked call. I want to see gross dollars per booked call. And there's a couple of others that I may throw in there, but those are the key ones. I want to see all these metrics because if I have a low show rate, but my ROAS is super high, I don't give a shit. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at these two here, collected dollars and ROAS. And then I know how to make decisions. I know how to properly rank reps because a rep that may have the highest close rate may be DQing a ton of people so that he closes only the ones that are qualified. Tracking your metrics is number one. This is the most important. And then it's just making sure your reps stay on top of their admin. If your reps are bad at admin, get fucked. I don't care. I don't care if that's not what a rep does. Get them to do their admin. Get them to do their admin. Simple, but super effective. Number three, pay well. Pisses me off when people try to haggle me. Pisses me off. I don't want to work for you. I don't want to work with you. Objectively, I want to make disgusting amounts of money. And so I don't need somebody that's going to be pinching me and squeezing me. We're high performers. This agency is filled with high performers. I do not allow for people to squeeze me because they think they can. Go hire a shitty agency that'll charge you less, and you'll get exactly what you expect. The same thing goes for your reps. Your sales reps need to be paid well. Like I mentioned earlier in this call, I know people that make $1 million a year selling. They don't own a business. They just sell. Straight commission, 7 figures. If they're making 7 figures, it means they're making damn near $10 million for your organization. Yet you want to let them go because they cost too much. Bro, your next highest performer is making $300K in a year, making 20 grand a month. Get fucked. What are you thinking here? Or 3 million a year, math wrong. But you get the point. Pay your reps well. There was a Cole Gordon podcast I listened to recently where he said he pays his setters 12 grand a month, something crazy like that. 12 grand a month for a setter. Most closers would be a setter if they made 12 grand a month. You pay your closers $8K a month. Get fucked. Get fucked if you think you're getting top talent for that. Hell no. Absolutely fucking not. You're getting a normal ass sales rep. That's fine. But just know that you get what you fucking pay for. Again, I apologize for all the swearing. It's one of those days. The last thing that I'll say here, and again, there's so much nuance to this, and I don't claim to be the best sales manager in the world, but the other thing that's extremely important here is narrative control. And this goes for more of my marketers out there. It's very easy to be gaslit by salespeople. Remember, they're salespeople at the end of the day. They speak to people about buying products that they may not want to buy initially, and they get them across online. They help people come to a decision that is in their best interest. Do you not think they can use those things on you? It's very, very true. And so what I see happen all the time is a sales rep or a sales manager gaslights the marketer into thinking they're doing a bad job, or the marketer gaslights the salespeople into thinking they're doing a bad job. You've got to understand narrative control, and you've got to really be able to look at the numbers and objectively know what's going on. Because if on the marketing side everything's good, you have to maintain control of the narrative when the sales team starts to collapse. One of my favorite examples of this was Jeremy Haynes. Basically, we'll just say like, yeah, I changed everything you said. And all of a sudden they'll start closing more when in reality you changed nothing. That's why the narrative is so important. Your ability to control the narrative is arguably one of the number one skill sets you can have as a marketer or as a sales leader because it dictates the performance of the business. And so this video, again, I don't claim to be an expert sales rep or sales manager. I don't claim to be a guy that can come in and run a high performance sales team by any means. But these are some of the most common problems and things I see inside of sales orgs, and especially with how front of mind this is. I wanted to put this video out so you guys know what we look for in a sales organization. So I hope this video helps. If you like this, drop comment below with what you want to see next, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.